But like for Jimmy Carter, I feel like they saw him as like a pinko commie libtard who loves apologizing to the rest of the world for America's crimes or whatever, even though he wasn't. But I just don't know why they hate him that much.
Essentially,
to act as the indispensable mediator.
Almost never in our history has a president devoted so much time on a single problem.
He had studied
the 46th president of the United States,
of the two leaders who deeply mistrusted each other. He wrote Sadat and Begin personal letters inviting them to Camp David. And when they arrived on American soil, it was high stakes for all three men involved.
Failure here would just increase the impression that Mr. Carter is a nice man, but an inept president.
This meeting is truly historic, and the people who will participate know it.
13 days of intense negotiations, crucially behind closed doors. No leaks, no social media, no media at all.
The Israeli delegation is totally zipped up. Even less is coming out of it than is coming out of the Egyptian delegation.
At Camp David, Carter and his team shuttle back and forth between the two men and their teams, often negotiating late into the night. Carter's national security advisor, the late Zbigniew Brzezinski, described what looked like mission impossible.
Sadat, to sign a peace treaty with Begin, had to break ranks with the entire Arab world. He had to face isolation. Begin, to agree with Sadat, had to give up territory for the first time and to give up settlements.
When direct talks between Sadat and Begin became too heated, Carter kept them apart and quashed any attempt to call off the negotiations. After 2 weeks of complications, drama, and false starts, the men finally returned to Washington to deliver the good news. They had reached a deal.
Just look at 2 weeks ago what the situation was. Peace process all but dead.
An achievement none thought possible.
It appears that the president won, and he won big.
Decades after Camp David, I sat down with President Carter and asked him how in the world he had done it.
There you were, you brought peace with Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat. It all seems so much easier then, was it? Or is that just what we think now, all these years later?
I think it was much more difficult because I was negotiating between two men whose nations had been at war 4 times in just 25 years.
The magnitude of that accomplishment lives on in the image of that three-way handshake. The Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin summed it up like this.
The Camp David Conference should be renamed. It was the Jimmy Carter Conference.
The final result? Israel would return the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt, a piece of land the two had fought wars over. Egypt would finally recognize Israel's right to exist and give Israel access to the crucial Suez Canal shipping lanes. Both leaders declared no more fighting. All three men would eventually be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. But one thing wouldn't change. Arabs called Sadat a traitor. 3 years later, he was assassinated by Muslim extremists in his own country. Still, many years later, President Carter told me that he was proud of this first peace deal between Arabs and Israelis.
The peace treaty that was negotiated between Israel and Egypt over extremely difficult circumstances was beneficial to both sides, and not a single word of the treaty has been violated. It was much more difficult than the altercation between the Israelis and the Palestinians is today.
And that conflict, the one between Palestinians and Israelis, still rages on to this day. But it doesn't alter the fact that there was a shining moment when Jimmy Carter engaged the full and indispensable role of the United States and changed one corner of the Middle East forever. Christiana Manpour, CNN, London.
All right, let's now bring in CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny. Jeff, good to have you. I want to follow up on something that we heard a short time ago from President Carter's biographer, Kai Bird. He said, in a lot of ways, President Carter was ahead of his times in many ways, particularly in foreign affairs.
Rahel, there is no question that he was ahead of his time in so many ways as an environmentalist, as a conservationist, and as we are really getting the reactions from Democrats and Republicans, American leaders. I'm looking at one now from former President Bill Clinton and Secretary Hillary Clinton. They talk about how they met him in 1975. They're praising his really post-presidency work. Also getting reaction from Republican Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, praising his post-presidency work. The through line to this here is that Jimmy Carter believed that a president's afterlife, a post-presidency, should not be a time to make profit, but actually a time to do good. And that, of course, is something that is really the last of his kind in that respect. He was not known to give big speeches leaving office. But let's talk about him being in office for a moment. You're right. He was ahead of his time. There's no question his protecting the lands of Alaska, his work on the Panama Canal, and even putting solar panels on the White House. And I was just actually watching a documentary over the weekend called Carterland, which is such a good encapsulation of his time in office. And he was talking about in the year 2000. Of course, that seemed like a long time away in the 70s, but talking about the solar panels on the White House. Of course, Ronald Reagan had them removed when he came into office. But when you look at his classic American story, he definitely was elected at 52 years old, but ahead of his time in so many ways.
Yeah, I just want to read a comment that we're getting in from the former president's son, Jeff. I'll read it out for you. It says, "My father was a hero, not only to me, but to everyone who believes in peace, human rights, and unselfish love." This is coming from Chip Carter. He continued and said, "My brothers, sister, and I shared with him with the rest of the world through these common beliefs. The world is our family because of the way he brought people together, and we thank you for honoring his memory by continuing to live these shared beliefs." You know, Jeff, in a lot of ways, he was sort of in a class of his own. I mean, he was the oldest living former president. You know, he lived to 100. He, you know, as we just said, he was a president sort of ahead of his time. But talk to us a little bit about sort of how he, even just in terms of how he sort of had this second career after leaving office that in and of itself was remarkable.
Well, it absolutely was. I mean, he, you know, was elected as a fresh face of the South in the wake of Watergate and in the anger from Vietnam. If we think of every presidential election as a series of, you know, a linked chain of events, his was a reaction to the Nixon administration and the Ford presidency and the anger in the country over President Ford pardoning Richard Nixon. So he was the agent of change at that point. But of course, the economy and so many other things got in the way. And his advisors at the time said, "You're doing too much."
Yes, this was in my predictions for 2024.
Perhaps some of this for the second term. Of course, there was no second term. Ronald Reagan handily defeated him. But I think going back to Jimmy Carter, he had if you look through these documentaries and if you walk through the Carter Center in Atlanta, as I have several times, the pictures in the Oval Office as the buck stops here. Of course, that's the Harry Truman line, but also it's something that he took to heart. And as we are looking here at statements still coming in, an interesting line here from Senator Mitch McConnell. He said, "President Carter served during times of tension and uncertainty, both at home and abroad, but his calm spirit and deep faith seemed unshakable." And faith, I think, Rahel, is something that is central to Jimmy Carter's life. Of course, we remember seeing him at the funeral of his wife of 77 years, Rosalind, just a little over a year ago. And now he has taken his lead, reunited with her. So an American love story, an American original in so many ways will be celebrated over the next several days as his funeral plans begin to take shape.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, that's a really important point. It's something that we hadn't touched on yet, but just his faith and sort of how crucial that was and the way that he lived his life. Jeff, thank you. I want to now bring in for a moment Kai Bird, who is with us now. Kai, I mean, you have had the privilege of you know, working with Jimmy Carter quite closely. Give us a sense, if you might, of some personal anecdotes or any stories that really stood out to you.
Well, you were speaking about Camp David and his intervention to achieve a peace treaty in the Middle East. You know, he took on this issue with no background in it. He
was just that good.
His advisors all told him not to do it, that it was dangerous territory. And yet Carter, you know, was a very well-read man, and he thought he was the most intelligent guy in the room, and he could educate himself on this issue. And he just decided, this is something that is really important to do, and I'm going to use my powers of the presidency to make something happen where no one else has been able to go to that territory. And over the objections of Zbigniew Brzezinski, his national security advisor, he organized this Camp David retreat and invited Anwar Sadat and Menachem Begin. And over 13 days, it was an incredible drama of personal diplomacy in which he forced them to stay there. They both tried to leave on at least 2 occasions. And he managed to keep them there for 13 days and iron out an agreement. And at a sort of critical tipping point, just as Menachem Begin was about to storm out once again, Carter came over to Menachem Begin's cabin in Camp David and brought with him photographs of himself and Begin and Sadat. And he had signed to his grandchildren, to Begin's grandchildren. And he had gotten their names, and he handed these little gifts. And this caused the very stern and staid Begin to break down and start weeping because Carter had inscribed them, you know, for peace for our grandchildren. And this was sort of brought home to Begin that he was missing an opportunity. And at that point, he said, okay, I'll go back. I'll negotiate one more round with you. And out of that came the Camp David Accords, which are still in effect. They brought peace between Egypt and Israel. And yet there was a missed opportunity because Carter always believed that he also got the outlines for a peace between Israel and the Palestinians as well. And that, of course, is a very controversial argument that historians are still trying to figure out all these decades later.
Yeah. Kai, I want to ask you to weigh in on something my colleague Jeff Zeleny had just mentioned there toward the end of our conversation, but the importance of Jimmy Carter's faith and the way in which he pursued his work and the way in which he pursued the issues and the causes that were important to him.
Yes, faith mattered a great deal to him. He was a Southern Baptist. He thought of Israel and Palestine as the Holy Land. And he just thought it was a tragedy that war was being fought in the Holy Land. And he believed that he had studied the issue enough to understand what a compromise might look like.
Nope.
2 states for 2 peoples, and territorial compromises, and sharing of Jerusalem. And all of that was sort of set in the background of the Camp David Accords.
I thought he famously didn't know shit. Like, he didn't know anything, with the exception of, like, maybe some biblical text. And also, Camp David Accords unironically solidified Israel's position of dominance over the Palestinians.
You know, we're seeing, it's ironic, but, you know, Jimmy Carter was dealing with Israel, Palestine, Iran, revolutionary Iran, the same issues we're dealing with today. But if he had gotten an agreement from Begin in 1978 to freeze the settlements in the West Bank, no more building of settlements in the West Bank for 5 years, that would have been a huge step. That would have led, inevitably, I would argue, to a 2-state solution. And here we are decades later, and Jimmy Carter always believed that this was his biggest failure in the presidency, that he didn't somehow get that pinned down.
Yeah, that's such an interesting point, Kai. I mean, what do you make of some of the parallels between his time in office and sort of present day 2024, whether we're talking about Iran, whether we're talking about the conflict in the Middle East. And you mentioned Paul Volcker earlier, the Federal Reserve Chair, who was, in charge of fighting the highest inflation that we had seen in years, and we have seen since then. And so it is just sort of remarkable, the parallels between his time in office and 2024.
Yeah, this is why Carter's presidency, not just his ex-presidency, but his presidency is so relevant to us today, because he was grappling with these extremely difficult issues that he took on head-on, including energy, race, religion, climate change, as we've discussed, peace in the Middle East, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
How long ago do you think they had this video ready to go? Years. People start writing obituaries so early on. Famously, Henry Kissinger had co-writers on his New York Times obituary. Some of them died before Henry Kissinger died.
Solution in Israel-Palestine, or race, or the separation of religion and state, which is something that Carter, Southern Baptist, was very much committed to. So his presidency is oddly relevant in a way that I think most Americans don't understand or have forgotten.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point. Kai Bird, we so appreciate you being with us on this breaking news. Again, former President Jimmy Carter has died at the age of 100. And thank you for joining me today. We're going to continue to cover this breaking news. Omar Jimenez picks up now.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We begin this hour with breaking news. Former President Jimmy Carter has died at the age of 100. The Carter Center says the 39th president died this afternoon, surrounded by family in his hometown of Plains, Georgia. The former president had been in home hospice care since February of 2023, but Carter became the oldest living former president when he surpassed the record held by the late George H.W. Bush in March of 2019. Carter, a Georgia peanut farmer and a lifelong Democrat, served a single term as president from 1977 to 1981, losing a re-election bid to Ronald Reagan. Now, his presidency was defined by blows to America's economy and conflicts overseas, but his most enduring legacy came after his presidency, winning a Nobel Peace Prize and redefining himself as a human rights pioneer. Joining us now, CNN's Jake Tapper takes a look at how former President Carter spent his long life embracing faith and how it shaped his life and career.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
Jimmy Carter faced the American presidency the same way he faced nearly everything else in his life, with unflinching faith.
Oh my God! I have just taken the oath of office on the Bible my mother gave me just a few years ago.
And as Americans looked to President Carter to lead them, President Carter looked to God for guidance.
With God's help, and for the sake of our nation, it is time for us to join hands in America.
As a devout evangelical, the pride of Plains, Georgia, was active in his hometown church well into his 90s.
Well, thank you for coming this morning.
Both as a student of faith and as a teacher.
My father was a Sunday school teacher. He taught me when I was a child. I still teach Sunday school when I can.
A commitment to God and family were long-held hallmarks of the Carter home.
The scripture was part of his daily childhood life. Every night at supper, they would not only say the Lord's Prayer, but would read the gospel.
When Carter left home for the Naval Academy, his faith followed.
He would spend his weekends on leave doing Bible classes, tutoring people in scripture. He talks about Jesus Christ all the time.
But in 1966, the lifelong Christian came to question his beliefs, his faith shaken after losing the Georgia governor's race in the primary.
I really felt let down by God.
Carter's younger sister read him scripture from the book of James, reminding the future president
that a setback in life should be an institution that results in perseverance and patience and self-analysis and renewed spiritual commitment.
She made him into what evangelicals called a born-again Christian.
With renewed conviction, Carter went on to serve as Georgia's governor and later as America's commander-in-chief. The 39th president and his new vice president, Walter Mondale, had Christianity in common. They bonded over it.
I grew up in a minister's family, and he recognized what I was about. And I think that's one of the things that pulled us together.
It was also one of the qualities that helped Carter become the first president to welcome the Pope to the White House.
Let all of us here of every faith stand as one under God for peace and justice and for love.
The president's knowledge of world religion played a key role in his brokering of the Egypt-Israel peace treaty in 1979.
Yeah, using using a religious framework to try to solve a colonialist conquest is fucking hilarious. Like there you go. Oh, there it happened already. It happened for Carter as well. The thing that I was talking about with respect to how sometimes you have people who outlive their obituary writers. What the fuck? Why can't I actually move this? Here it is. Jimmy Carter outlived one of his obituary writers. Peter Baker is the chief White House correspondent for the Times. Roy Reid, who died in 2017, was a Times national correspondent who for many years covered the South. Yeah, obituary writers sometimes like start writing the obituaries so long ago that like they fucking pass away before the subject dies.
Namesake Carter Center touched the lives of millions.
Well, the work at the Carter Center has been, I'd say, more personally gratifying to me.
Founded in 1982 as part of his presidential library, the Carter Center has worked to ensure the fairness of more than 100 elections in nearly 40 countries.
Low-key, one of the most like pro-Venezuelan institutions in America.
Guinea worm that had long burdened parts of Africa.
Guinea worm is probably one of the oldest diseases remembered by human beings. It's in the Bible. We think it's a fiery serpent.
For his work, Jimmy Carter earned the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. In addition to his philanthropic work, Jimmy Carter was a prolific author. He published more than 25 books touching on his belief in God, country, and kindness. You only have to have two loves in your life, he wrote, for God and for the person in front of you at any particular time. The person with Carter most was his wife, Rosalind, who worshiped alongside him for more than 7 decades.
When I'm overseas, or when she is, we read the same passage in the Bible, and we kind of, communicate silently.
Even when cancer threatened to take Mr. Carter from his wife and from the life he loved, he kept his faith and looked again to God.
Now I feel, that it's in the hands of...
Interesting. There was a book that mentioned Israel-Palestine in there, but not the one that calls Israel an apartheid. I wonder why.
And I want to bring in CNN.
There was an Israel-Palestine book in there, Peace in the Holy Land or whatever. But there wasn't the one where he openly says, Palestine not apartheid, or peace not apartheid.
Jeff is on the phone, and Chip Carter, the former president's son, said, "My father was a hero, not only to me, but to everyone who believes in peace, human rights, and unselfish love." And I guess, Jeff, I bring that quote up because for President Carter, there's almost two major chapters in his legacy. Of course, his time in office.
I'm sorry, I'm a product of American presidents, American education system, but doesn't that seem bad? He doesn't seem that bad compared to other presidents? No, especially for like all of his work post-presidency, which is valid. Like, he's just like kind of a dunderhead, a really religious guy, actually a religious guy, not like fake religious in the way that, not fake religious in the way that Trump is, and certainly not insane religious in the way that like Mike Pence is, right? He is like the classic religious guy that's like, I want to abide by my faith and I want to do the things that, the Bible tells me to do. Good things for others, be kind to individuals, that kind of thing. And in spite of all of that, of course, he was still tasked with doing horrifyingly monstrous things as the president of the United States. Also, a lot of people in the Republican Party historically have hated him and have hailed him as like pre-Obama. Everyone used to point to Carter as like the worst president. Okay.
He created the Department of Education. He appointed Ruth
Bader
Ginsburg
Bill Clinton
to the
too.
federal bench and began the process of diversifying the courts. Up until he became president, only
what is this? HasanAbi women
were on the federal bench.
What is it? Where is it? Oh, it's just showing different recommended articles. Let's see if I can find it. It's probably a meme. Let's see what the meme is. Search meme. What was it? HasanAbi women? Oh, this is it. They're my blast off memes, you dummies. I very quickly will write out Like when I post it in the memes folder, I very quickly just like type something out that I'm going to post on Twitter. Where's the Dua Lipa one? What is the poo folder? Oh, that's like tax documents and shit. You accidentally showed your short stack goblin porn? Yeah, I don't fucking watch porn on my work computer. And I also don't download porn. I feel like downloading porn is degenerate shit. Like I feel like that's the first step towards becoming like an actual gooner porn addict. Like I've never watched a porn where I was like, damn, I really need to save this. Like I really need to, I don't know if I'll ever be able to have access to this again. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a Philistine, but my porn consumption habits are pretty, they're pretty like basic. You go Pornhub. Like back in the day, obviously I used to download a lot of porn because I was in Turkey. Porn was not as readily accessible and easy to come by. But now it seems crazy. I actually don't know why, like what the inflection point is for why so many Republicans hate Carter. Because like the hatred they have for him is far more severe. Like they hate Bill Clinton, they hate Obama, they hate Obama the most. We know what it is for Barack Obama. For Barack Obama, it's obviously being black first and foremost. But like for Jimmy Carter, I feel like they saw him as like a pinko commie libtard who loves apologizing to the rest of the world for America's war crimes or whatever, even though he wasn't. But I just don't know why they fucking hate him that much.
Essentially, from a president and, of course, high-profile work afterward as well. I mean, how difficult was it to lead the life that they live? And just what kind of example did they set, do you believe, for the country and world at large in just their relationship?
I think it could be like a similar dynamic to how liberals despise leftists, because from their perspective, like it makes them kind of look back at their own ideological shortcomings. Like that's why liberal politicians hate like Bernie Sanders, for example, because they look to Bernie Sanders and they're like, you're a piece of shit because you are really pushing the needle. And for maybe like conservative religious freaks, they hate that he's like at least his output in his individual life was like of a deeply religious man who is not a bad guy. They're really just drafting off the anger that people felt against Carter. America literally ran out of gasoline. He couldn't fill your tank during his presidency. Imagine what the Treatlers would do. Yeah, Adolf Treatlers would do if that happened in the U.S. $10 a gallon gas, etc. The boomers were so angry. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. That's got to be like the most significant part of this, right?
Peace Accords at Camp David. It was actually her idea to do it there because she was close with Sadat and his wife. And one of those stories that I think Kai mentioned before that I just love is that, you know, the personal touch that they both had, and the fact that when things were looking bad during Camp David, it was Jimmy Carter who gave Begin this signed photograph and said, give it to your grandchildren. And that's what brought Begin back to the negotiating table.
Oh my God, I don't care about this. Iran plus Reagan being seen as the great Jesus. Nah, most older people hate him because during the Iranian hostage crisis, Republicans thought Carter should have bombed Iran. Was Jimmy Carter dying in your 2024 predictions? Yes, it was. But that's like not that interesting. What's actually interesting is that not only was it in my predictions, it wasn't in just my predictions, but I literally said a couple days ago that that, you know, there's still time for the year to end, when people were making fun of me for predicting that Jimmy Carter would die in 2024. That's what's interesting about it, I think, or at least somewhat interesting about it, is that like he did do a buzzer beater. Did you write his name in your notebook? Yeah, I have a death note and I wrote Jimmy Carter's name on it. That's fucking crazy. All right. Let's go back to this, and I'm going to give you some
his Sunday school,
some
that
more
he was
critical
delivering
stuff
at Maranatha Baptist Church. He did this more than 2,000 times, well into his 90s. And anybody who got the chance to sit and listen to him speak, you look over at Rosalind, and she just looked adoringly at him. So it was the pinnacle of his life, marrying her, and I think she felt the same. You know, when he lost in a landslide to Ronald Reagan, she was devastated and she never quite got over it. She thought the country made a huge mistake by not re-electing her husband. So this was a partnership that continued well after the White House.
Yeah, and I want to bring Ron Brownstein back into the conversation.
One of my predictions from one of my last remaining predictions from 2024 that came true.
Former President Jimmy Carter's legacy here, and Ron, you know, I can't help when you look at it politically. It's almost hard not to see some of the parallels politically in our environment today that we saw back when he was in office as well. I mean, you know, inflation was one of the biggest issues in this past election, and we know during his time that was something that was a major struggle in this country. And I just want to use that as a jumping off point. Do you see many similarities?
Wait, what did Trump say? Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on. What's the Elton John song that was playing when Donald Trump responded to RB? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I got it. New Trump tweet just dropped. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. You want to come read it? Okay. Hold on. We're not going to do this yet because I'm waiting for Alexander Lolo to come and read it. Okay. Your mic is on.
Hey, chat. Sorry, guys. I'm leaving tomorrow, okay? And I won't be here anymore.
Thank God, dude. Fucking thank God.
I know. I'm sorry,
You
guys.
greatly overstayed your welcome. Shit.
Sorry.
Jimmy Carter died. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm gonna take. Yeah. I heard the news. Very sad.
All right.
He was only 100. So young.
So young. Who could have thought? Anyway, here.
Is it? Are you doing it in the background?
Yeah.
Just heard the news about the passing of President Jimmy Carter. Those of us who have been fortunate enough to have served as president understand that this is a very exclusive club, and only we can relate to the enormous responsibility of leading the greatest nation in history. The challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and frankly, he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans, not as much as me, but a lot. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude. Melania and I are thinking warmly of the Carter family and their loved ones during this difficult time. We urge everyone to keep them in their hearts and prayers.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
This is the forever. I think whenever Trump tries to eulogize someone, I'm going to play that song.
Yeah.
It has to be played
in
the background.
Pretty nice. This is a pretty nice message that
yeah,
he wrote.
It's kind of surprising that he didn't go, Carter was the worst American president.
A big-time loser, as we know.
Yeah, major loser.
Couldn't cut it 2 times, no.
Yeah.
He tried to put solar panels on the White House.
But just like Sleepy Joe Biden, his defeat brought back one of the greatest, second greatest American presidents. Joe Biden's defeat brought me back, and Carter brought Ronald Reagan, who is not the greatest president, but the second after myself. That's how you know he didn't write it? Yeah, your cousin probably wrote this.
Danny? Yeah, probably. Did you guys, oh, speaking of which, do you guys think I should go to the inauguration?
Can you, how tight are you?
Do you want to go?
How tight are you?
Me and Danny?
Yeah.
We're not tight at all, but his mom and my mom are tight.
You think you can get me into the inauguration?
If you want to go, as long as you don't cause problems, you could probably come.
Why would I cause problems? What problems could I cause?
Because you're Antifa. You're an Antifa terrorist.
No, I'm not. I'm literally misogynistic, and I revel in the death of homeless.
This is crazy. You're gonna go. This is the big heel turn, guys. He's gonna go to the inauguration.
Yeah.
He's gonna go on Rogan.
I'm gonna outflank Jank. Like Shaky Gurga thinks he can do this fucking
Here, let
pivot.
me text my mom right now. She texted me this morning. Also, she liked the video that we sent for some reason, even though you called me autistic in it. She's like, "That's nice. I like Hasan." That's what she said.
Really?
Yeah.
What does your mom sound like? Female Donald Trump.
Everybody in my family sounds that
in this
way.
impersonation. Why are you doing her like that? That's messed up. More evidence of Hasan's rightward shift? Yeah.
Jimmy, what's Jimmy's last name? Jimmy Donaldson. Fantastic. One of our best presidents.
Mr. Beast
of the world didn't really exist.
All right, well,
Harry
the
Truman,
Glaze session's
Dwight
on.
Eisenhower,
I'm going to take
they
this
kinda
stuff
went
out
home
of
to
here.
the farm. Lyndon Johnson, same.
I will bring
same
my own
story.
MAGA hat to the
and,
fucking inauguration
I think
if I'm allowed to
Carter
go.
Really
I think that's a little too on the nose.
That a former president.
Wait, why?
I don't think you should wear a MAGA hat to
engaged
the
and a
inauguration. I think that's crazy.
Of positive change around the world, and
Why?
He's sort of it's like a new model.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to make America great
people
again.
in our history who can say that about that. They just sort of created something that really reimagined. You know, there've been former presidents
I fuck
for,
with
you
Jimmy
know,
Carter.
at that point, you know, almost 200 years. But none had really
I mean, he's
envisioned
probably
their
the
role
only good
in
like
the same
post.
way that he did.
You talk about that,
and I think he has
the only
created a
good
model that,
president,
to
like
varying
post
extent,
presidency,
other
in
presidents
terms of trying to do the right
I
thing.
think now see as part of, you know, kind of what you
Racist
are expected
shit.
to do when you leave office.
I mean, he
although
ran a
none,
tremendously
I think,
racist
to the full extent
campaign
matches
to
the full
become,
extent of Carter's engagement with so many different
governor
causes
of,
for so long.
Right, he was governor of
And
Georgia.
this, of course, as we continue to see the images of the American flag at half-staff, and to speak to some of
Chad, is this right?
what you were talking about, you know, they founded the Carter Center in Atlanta in partnership with Emory University in 1982, and those initiatives included monitoring international elections, fighting diseases in developing countries, seeking international
Dude, look how
peace,
good
and one
I
of their
am. Look
key
at that.
accomplishments that
Where
they're
am I pulling that
credited
from?
with
I don't
is
even
the
remember
near
what I was eating
eradication
for
of guinea
breakfast
worm
yesterday.
disease for more than
Just
3
kidding.
million
I've been
cases
eating
in
a breakfast
1986
burrito every single
14
day that I've been in Los
last year
Angeles.
in 2023, and he of course got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor for an American civilian, in 1999. I mean, the impact, I mean, just those numbers alone, reading out of a disease essentially being eradicated over just a few decades is pretty remarkable. But I guess what my mind goes to now is how does that work continue? I mean, obviously he's set such a standard, and even while he maybe was not as mobile and as public as maybe he would have liked to be, understandably so. You know, he was around 100 years old leading up to it. But where is that source of light? Where is that momentum? How does that work continue at a level that Jimmy Carter?
I'm good. No, I'm staying one more day because I have to interview this big idiot. I'm putting you on speaker. You're on stream. There's how many people are watching? I'm putting you on speakerphone.
Don't want to be on speakerphone.
Okay, you're on speakerphone right now. There are 25,000 people watching. Okay, so don't say anything really problematic.
It's 26,000. Hello,
Ma. It's Hasan. Mom, Hasan wants to go to the inauguration.
That'd be great.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Why not?
No.
Is Kathy going?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Can Hasan go? He'll be really good. He doesn't want to go to the parties. He wants to just take it all in.
Yeah, I want to.
Take it all in.
Trump is our president now, and I want to celebrate it.
He wants to celebrate.
No, I don't trust you two. Absolutely.
That's
happening.
No.
That's never
We'll be good, Mary. We'll be good.
We will be so good.
Sir.
Mary, we will be
wait,
respectful.
tell her I was gonna wear my hat.
He'll wear his MAGA hat.
Are you?
No.
Are you watching right now? I can put it on right now.
No, she's not watching. She doesn't.
No, I don't know how to watch anything. I don't do that. I don't have social media.
She watches. She watches her British TV.
Oh, you know, Jimmy Carter died.
We heard, yeah.
Yeah, we were just covering it.
It's like about time, right?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What? I mean, God bless. Well, I wouldn't want to live that long. That's gross.
You're ready to die, Ma?
I'm ready to go. I'm packed and ready.
All right, good thing. All right, we'll talk about it later.
Ready.
We'll talk later about it, but I think you got to talk to Kathy.
You.
I miss you too.
No, I miss you.
Listen, talk to Kathy.
come home.
I'll come home. Listen, talk to Kathy. Ma, talk to Kathy.
When are you coming home?
I'll come home if you talk to Kathy about getting us into the inauguration.
No.
Ma, come on.
You should have been nicer to me. My Christmas gift should have been nicer.
Oh no!
You don't air me out, Ma. There's a bunch of people. No, stop.
What did he get you?
You're disconnected. You're
What did he
breaking up.
get you? What did he get you?
Ma, I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Love you.
That's crazy. What did you better have gotten her something nice. She deserves nice things.
I got her a nice gift.
What did you get her?
I got her a bunch of skincare stuff.
That's not enough.
It's nice.
That's like supplementary gifts.
What am I gonna buy her?
Give her the choker.
She doesn't like. She's not gonna wear that.
Why not?
That's not for my mom.
It's Marc Jacobs.
A choker necklace for my mom?
I don't know. It's hip. You could be like, this is what all the lovely young ladies are wearing.
No, she doesn't like that. She likes scarves. Maybe I'll buy her a new scarf.
Okay. You better.
She's just talking shit. She wants me to buy her a car.
Yeah, you better.
I'm not you. I can't buy people cars.
Okay.
I make $87,000 a year.
That's half of that.
Not enough
half
to
of
buy
that could
a
go
car.
to a car.
No, Hasan, that's not enough. I'm a public interest lawyer.
You're gonna get fired again for
saying exactly how much I make.
Revealing your salary.
No, we're a union shop. I know. I should make double, guys.
That's insane.
Guys, shouldn't I make double?
God damn, dude. Honestly,
I made more. This is what's really crazy. I made more money when I was 23 years old, and because I worked in tech.
Yeah, that is. Ugh,
It was
God.
10 years ago, guys.
Society's on the verge of collapse, dude. What the fuck?
It's sick.
It's so basic to just be like, teachers should be making the price that like the salaries that like these tech people are making. But like honestly, what the fuck are we doing? We're venerating, we're hyping up the worst sectors.
I genuinely feel that the majority of professions at this point, you should just make double. Like whatever you're making, you're a fucking teacher, you're an immigration attorney, you're a firefighter, whatever, double.
Someone said 87,000 a year is good. It's a fucking like
it's not. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
No, you can say it's bad. You're a lawyer who you've done trials for many years.
I have a lot of experience.
You are an incredibly experienced lawyer in New York City.
And it's New York City. That's
the
thing.
only
My
reason
rent is
why.
expensive.
The only reason why it's so low is because you're a public interest lawyer. That's the reason, which is so fucked up.
And also, I want to be clear. You're right. It's not a bad living, but the fact is what people make in New York City is so low. I think the median income in New York City is it $74,000?
You're a Columbia
a year
law
or something like
graduate. That is
Yeah.
fucking stupid. Like that, chat, please readjust, like reorient to like his personal conditions. You're literally like, when you say $87,000 is a good salary, yeah, if you're entry level in fucking Birmingham, okay? Like that's what the average person should be getting paid in Birmingham.
It's not enough to buy my mom a car. Okay.
Like that's with current with the current ways with the current like salaries and cost of living, that's what it should be. I was making 85K in a local area, low cost area with no degree in tech.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, New York is very expensive.
It's sickening, I think.
Like that's why I was talking about I might leave New York because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, unless somebody I know, if only there was someone I know who could buy an apartment building and let me live there.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. That's insane.
Guys, you guys know anybody who could
That's insane.
buy me an apartment? Okay.
Someone said that's almost what I make as a public defender in Kansas. You're getting flanked by other public defenders in fucking Kansas,
I know, it's
dude.
bad, dude.
That is so bad.
The public in California, public servants get paid very well. Like the muni drivers in San Francisco.
Why don't you fucking serve the public here then?
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
Take the bar.
Isn't it if you pass the bar in like
No.
certain states, it's like,
No.
California might be different.
California has zero reciprocity with any other state because they're a bunch of assholes.
Well, they probably have, a pretty populous state.
I think it's a dick move. I mean, you already have to go to law school for 3 years, and then you have to take a fucking bar.
Yeah, I don't really know. But isn't the bar like most of it is just like learning each individual, like the minutia of the.
It's just annoying. That's all it is.
I guess it kind of makes sense. You can learn on the job.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. Anyway, it's chill.
I know a guy who could build you an apartment, but he just passed. True. You're
Damn,
cooked.
R.I.P. King.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter was gonna fix the housing crisis. That's why they killed him. And because is Mossad killed him because he was pro-Palestine.
Oh yeah, he had another
they just found out. They just found out about his takes that he wrote in books for like 800 years at this point.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll move to California and I'll take the bar here.
You should do it.
I could be L.A. lawyer.
I'm an auditor for the state and I make 20K more than this dude with a lot less education. Totally feel for him. In California, you don't have to repeat the MBE if you've been barred for 6 years out of state. Only 1 day essays.
Okay, cool. Well, that's not for another year and change.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for the info. Anyway.
Wait, but how did he die? Probably wasn't natural, right? Yeah, dude. He was in hospice care for an entire year. It definitely wasn't natural. No one who was in hospice care for an entire year at the age of 100 dies like that.
I guess one just a fucking kid.
Yeah, one could say he died suddenly.
He died under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, nobody knows how he died.
More than New York is the snobbiest city in America.
What the fuck?
And Carter and the Georgians were treated like dirt, condescendingly, and with hostility. If he had a fault, it was
American like cultural battles are so silly to me. Like,
was accused of presidential micromanaging, of excessive attention to detail.
My whole thing
At
is,
his best,
why do people from the Midwest
Jimmy Carter mastered a
think
subject
that
and then
like,
led sometimes
people on
very
the coast have
effectively.
smoke for them? When it's like, I don't think about, no offense, and I don't even mean the flyover thing. It's just like, I'm not.
oh, like the
anytime I
West
meet
Coast East
people
Coast
from the
rivalry or
Midwest,
whatever.
There's like a chip on their shoulder. Like, it's chill.
No, it's because they're very overlooked parts of the country, and their material conditions have worsened over over the past couple of decades, partially because of neoliberalism that was originally initiated by the Carter administration and then supercharged by Ronald Reagan. But I think that's where the anger and resentment comes from, that people are just feeling like they've been left behind, and they have been left behind. And some of the only areas where there is any sort of like dormant industry remaining is like tech or I don't know, finance in New York and tech in California. So for that reason, I think that like a lot of people have these this kind of like anger and resentment. That's it. I think
let's start a co-op.
What are you talking about?
Chat, you want to start a co-op?
Question.
Are you better off
for what
than you were 4 years ago?
Just hanging out.
Jimmy Carter lost the election, but not his resolve to make a difference. He and Rosalind founded the Carter Center in part to promote peace, democracy, economic and social development.
Connor is, I think, one of the funniest, if not the funniest, Twitch streamer out there. This week's Fortnite Friday has been indefinitely delayed. Yeah. I think...
Shout out Angelica Reed.
My sources tell me he was crippled with anxiety over his upcoming... over a coveted upcoming media appearance. My sources tell me he was crippled with anxiety over a coveted upcoming media appearance that he was training for. You type like my grandma? Your grandma can type this fast? That's insane. Like, yeah, I type slow, man. I'm fucking 33 years old. Suck my dick. But like, if your grandma could type at the speed of a 33-year-old when her entire life she's never touched a goddamn typewriter or a computer, then congratulations to your fucking grandma. Is she a goddamn stenographer? Even though they use a different keyboard entirely. Index finger typing. I think my speed is not great, but it's not terrible either.
You have a lot of smoke for this person's grandma.
Yeah, I get annoyed when people make fun of these fucking Zoomers that like, don't understand what it's like when you had your own personal computer like late in the game. Okay, I wasn't born with a fucking iPad in my fingers. Bitch, you youngins will never understand. Yeah, I can fucking read way faster than you and write better than you. So at least I have that over you. I don't need fucking autocorrect. How about that? The way Hasan talks about being in his 30s sends me, Lamau. It's because this environment is filled to the brim with fucking disgusting Zoomers. Zoomers who are ontologically evil as an entire generation. Anyway.
They're fine.
Yeah. Do you know how to fucking write or read cursive? I can. There you go. Boom.
Do you fight with them a lot?
What? My audience?
The
No,
children?
I would never. I would never fight with the children in my audience. Just kidding. I fight with them all the time. And then people will be like, Hasan is so audience captured. And then they'll turn around and go, he yells at his audience all the time. No, we're not going to watch the Papua New Guinea doc. Before we move on, my critique of Carter as a religious studies student specializing in Christian liberation theology is that a Christian leader has the responsibility to effect positive systemic change, not just lead a holy life. I mean, fair. Yeah, I can also read, period. I need Lolo in a biblical way, this person said. Where'd it go?
What does that mean?
I don't know. They want to do like Bible stuff to you.
Is that anal?
Maybe. You, me, code forces. Let's see who can reverse a binary tree. I don't know what any of those words mean, Magic Man. Okay, calm down. Isn't that what that fucking Twitter geek said?
Who?
The one who was like the racist Algerian coder.
No, he's not racist anymore. He said that he was not doing that anymore.
Oh yeah.
He said he was going back to the grind, which I can respect.
Anyway, Lamau, look at this Weekend at Jimmy shit. Oh, this was, I know what this is. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. How could
It's
he
so
have?
sad.
How could he have died? I mean, this is
That's not nice.
I mean, come on. It's not nice to fucking wheel him out like this. It's not nice to snap a picture of him being wheeled out like this.
We're looking
when
at
you're incapable of closing your mouth, it's like it's God telling you your time is up. You know what I mean? Like when gravity takes hold of your jaw muscles, it's over.
Maybe he's yawning.
They wheeled him out mid-death rattle a few months ago. Shit's wild. Yeah. Why is the kid dying too? Yeah, I don't know what happened here.
Slay King.
Carter has passed, an accomplished man, a brilliant legacy. Although for many of us, he died years ago when he refused to condemn Gamergate. That's a banger.
I kind of forgot. I always kind of forgot that he was still alive until the people showed pictures of him like this.
It was really gross because the media would literally fucking cover him. Because like they'd be like, Carter thinks Kamala will be a fantastic president. It's like, no, Carter doesn't think anything. Okay, he has no thoughts.
Doing elder abuse.
Yeah, he looks like an Elden Ring boss, dude. What do you mean? Yeah, to witness a military flyover with 4 fighter jets. It's like, no, he didn't witness anything. Okay, they would be like, Jimmy Carter voted for Kamala Harris, and then the photo they would use was this, like that photo on the right where his mouth is open, mouth is agape.
He's mewing.
Yeah, he should have been. He should have been mewing.
I don't want to live to be 100, to be honest.
Bro looks like an Elden Ring stage dressing. Yeah.
But I think it's
was
actually
extremely shocking and unexpected. We're still struggling to understand exactly what happened. Yeah.
Can I just ask, what age was Sister Declan?
She'd have been 98 on Friday.
Right. Might that shed some light on the situation?
How so?
Does anybody else have any thoughts on the whole her being almost 98 years of age thing?
Struck down in her prime.
The hospital.
Struck down in her prime.
I love Dairy Girls.
I never watched it.
Oh, it's
who
really
became
funny.
president of the United States, and after leaving office, did all these remarkable things as a former president of the.
Oh my God, Glaze, dude. We get it. We get it. He fucking built houses, okay? Mr. Peanut Man. Oh.
He did really racist shit when he ran for governor. You know that all that stuff, right?
Let's take a look.
He sent out the mailers.
I mean, he's running for governor in Georgia.
He sent out these mailers to make them think that he was like really racist. Like he wanted to trick the voters into thinking that he was very racist. Can you Google this?
Jimmy Carter for governor vintage envelope. Is this it?
No. You know what I'm talking about, chat? I think I'm right about this.
Damn, you're just doing a fake
I
cancellation.
know.
You're
It's
doing
real.
a
It's
fake
real.
cancellation.
No,
dude.
go look up Google Jimmy Carter mailer racist. The dark side. Oh, it's on Reddit. Just on fucking Reddit. Don't read that.
Look at Jimmy Carter from 1971. A governor speaks out on race. He looked old when he was 45, bro. I don't know what's happening there. Well, this is on Reddit.
No, don't read the fucking Reddit.
Why?
That's not useful.
You never know. Just kidding. What am I doing? Even as
Why
a
are you
joke.
reading Reddit?
Disgusting. Even as a joke. Oh yeah. Worst fact of the fucking day. The 2 oldest living presidents are now the incumbent president and the president-elect. Wait, is that true? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Trump is the... Oh my God. I mean, I know Joe Biden is the oldest living president, but damn, Donald Trump is older than fucking GW. Washington Examiner. Dude, it's so funny that Washington Examiner wrote this because it's like, what? Was he not racist enough for you guys? Like, what's happening? This is like when a person...
Here, the leaflet. Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Okay, setting aside the much greater disrespect shown by the left at nearly every moment of former President George W. Bush's presidency, readers should refer to Stephen Hayward as the real Jimmy Carter if they want a taste of the out-and-out racism that Carter employed in order to defeat moderate former Governor Carl Sanders for the Democratic nomination that year. As Hayward's book points out, he used the term ethnic purity. Easy.
Wait, go back to the mailer. Though.
Anyway, Carter's top campaign staffers were spotted distributing grainy photographs of Sanders arm in arm celebrating with 2 black men. Sanders was a part owner of the Atlanta Hawks, and in the photograph, he was celebrating victory with 2 players that were pouring champagne over his head. Carter's leaflet was intended to depress Sanders' white vote. The Carter campaign also produced... By the way, things have not changed. Hillary Clinton did this against Barack Obama.
Sure.
Like, are we forgetting that? No. Hillary Clinton... Like, the Clinton camp is responsible for the distribution of photos where he's, like, wearing a turban and shit.
It's just so funny that this is a strategy in Georgia.
Yeah. It was I'm saying it was
produced a leaflet noting that
it was a strategy for Hillary Clinton in the primaries.
Sure, yeah.
Like that's why it's so crazy. Carter campaign also produced a leaflet noting that Sanders had paid tribute to Martin Luther King.
So fucking crazy.
Carter criticized Sanders, a former governor, for preventing Alabama governor and notorious segregationist George Wallace from speaking on Georgia state property. I don't think it was right for Governor Sanders to try and please a group of ultra liberals, particularly those in Washington. Brother. I have no trouble pitching for Wallace votes and black votes at the same time, Carter told the reporter. Carter also said to another reporter, I can win this election without a single black vote. Upon receiving the endorsement from a former governor, Democratic Governor Lester Maddox, Carter responded by praising the lifelong segregationist. He has brought a standard. Okay.
I mean, that's the classic Democratic move. That's like Joe Biden.
Joe Biden eulogized Strom Thurmond, dude. Like,
yeah.
And also co-authored and co-sponsored numerous bills. God, everything.
Guys, I'm starting to think
American
that this
politics
country is
so
a little
ass.
bit racist.
Yeah, American
This is
politics is so
crazy.
fucking ass. And it's always so funny because, like, diehard liberals, like diehard pro-dem people will just, like, straight up talk to you like you're a psychopath for bringing this up. Like, make no mistake, the Washington Examiner is infinitely more racist than any number of, like, Washington Examiner writes articles similar to this in a regular basis, okay? But it's, like, kind of wild to remind people. It's kind of wild to remember that, like, this isn't, 1970s shit, okay? This is, like, still very much, white supremacy is still very much at play in numerous instances in contemporary American politics. It is something that people utilize still. Check logs, important. Dude, CNN released an article on your Hollywood drama takes, Lamau. It's on CNN Entertainment. They added a clip from your stream.
Oh, no.
What the fuck? This is what takes me down.
Guys, you should... Wait, when does that Fear End episode come
out? Monday.
Guys, can you guys listen to that? Because I feel like it's going to be the worst performing episode that they make, but actually we had a really fun time. And Hasan talked about...
It's not showing up.
The way that he was with boys in college. He talked about that.
There isn't anything else. There isn't, like, it's not showing up yet. Wokeism taking down yet another Twitch streamer.
Wait, what happened? It's gone?
I don't know. Oh, they lied? I debated you. Also flex against Rise. I love you, Haas. The Americana proud of what you've done.
Ban.
All right, take a day off, bitch. Are we still doing ban appeals today? Yeah. Well, not that guy. That guy's gone. Fox will end up defending Hasan. No, you don't understand. That'll never happen, okay? Because every party responsible, both on the woke side and the Republican right side, know that I am not a fucking misogynist. They're just, they will both, in the same exact way, cynically claim that I am to fucking complain. That's how this goes, okay? That's it. It's the same principle behind the Fox News articles calling me a fucking anti-Semite.
Those are true.
God damn it. The reality of the matter is, if I was openly a genuinely misogynistic person, I would probably be loved by at least one side of the political spectrum.
True. There's always money in that.
Yeah. That's why it's so stupid when people are like, excuse me, Hasan, thinks Hasan is transphobic. It's like, are you stupid? Do you know how much fucking money I would make if I was like a transphobic person routinely cutting transphobic fucking videos? Like, why the fuck would I hide it? Why would I try to, like, go in this roundabout way of, like, doing some secret transphobia and misogyny? Like, I'd just be actively out there.
Wait, do you want to know something kind of crazy?
What?
I went to this morning, maybe chat will like this, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. I was at this bookstore in LA.
Dude, you're constantly in bookstore. Oh my God, wait, hold on. They're showing Jimmy fucking kissing, dude.
Yeah, he's fucking hot.
That's crazy. Go on.
This place, it's all first editions that they have, and it's like these two British guys. It's really cool. So like every book they have there is a first edition, and they have these amazing books. They're way too expensive, but I just like to look at them and imagine what it would be like to own them. But they have this copy of Oscar Wilde.
They're showing the kissing photo again. Sorry.
De Profundis. Do you know what that book is? Go look it up. This is really crazy. So they have a copy of this book, right? And if you don't know what this book is, it's like De Profundis.
Oh.
Yeah, there. So this is a letter that was written by Oscar Wilde. And it was like when he was in Reading jail. and it's actually about like this relationship, this abusive relationship that he had with like this young boy. Okay. And I'm like, oh, this is it's crazy that you have this book. This is like a first edition of this book. It's very old. And he's like, oh yeah, you know who loves that book and buys copies of it all the time to give as gifts? Johnny Depp. This is what Johnny Depp gives as gifts to people, this book.
Okay, but you just said you think it's cool.
No, I wouldn't give it to somebody as a fucking gift. That's crazy.
I mean, it's not surprising.
That's fucking insane. Is that not crazy?
Yeah. It's not that surprising.
No?
It's not that surprising.
What the fuck? I think that's nuts.
He's a fucking gross little weirdo. What do you mean? Like,
it's crazy, right, chat? No?
I think it's like,
I thought you guys would like that.
I think it's crazy. I think it's a crazy gift, but I also think it's like very on the money for Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he's a weirdo.
That's what I mean. He's like a fucking, he is like the perfect depiction of like a gross little Hollywood pervert. Like he looks the part. I mean, for the longest time, I thought he was not even American because like he puts
Isn't he
on like
Australian?
dude, he's from Ohio or some
What?
shit, or like Louisiana maybe. I don't.
You live on an island?
Dog, Johnny Depp is 100% an American. I think he's from Kentucky.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's from Owensboro, Kentucky, dog.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, he carries himself. He does that thing like, I was also shocked when I found out about this about Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa grew up in like Idaho or some shit. Like,
but he is
like I think he's half Samoan. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, it's just weird that he fucking grew up in Iowa. He does not. For the longest time, I thought Jason Momoa was like straight up from like maybe like Maori, New Zealand, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't think that he was like, I would have never thought that he grew up in fucking Iowa.
Shout out Duncan, Idaho.
He did grow up in Hawaii for a little bit. I'm just saying that like it's shocking that he, you know.
Anyway, sorry for that.
They don't carry themselves like that. Like, and neither does fucking Johnny Depp.
Did you guys know I'm American?
Wait, really?
I was born in America.
That's crazy. So was I.
That seems not true.
Samoans are U.S. nationals, to be fair. No, dude, that's not what I'm saying. Like, doesn't he give that's why I said New Zealand, okay? Because like he gives off vibes like he is like a New Zealander or something. Like or like at least lifelong grew up in Hawaii, but not even in Hawaii.
He's racist. Hasan is racist.
Yeah, I am racist. He carries himself like a dude who's exotic. Exactly.
Exotic is a crazy word.
Like Taika Waititi. Please don't tell me he also grew up in fucking Idaho. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Go. Wait, I
no,
want to see
no.
where he's
He
from.
grew up in. I think he's from New Zealand.
We kind of softened on this guy, right?
Wait, what? Were we mad at this guy? I don't fucking know any Hollywood shit.
I mean, I think people liked him for 5 minutes and then they don't like him anymore.
Why don't they like? Yeah, he's from New Zealand. Oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah, he was born in Honolulu. And his father's native Hawaiian. His mother is German-Irish Pawnee ancestry. Shortly after his birth, his parents divorced, and his mother moved to Norwalk, Iowa, where he was raised. He was raised in Iowa.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
That's a sick pick of him, that one.
Oh, this one?
That's fucking dope.
Yeah. Momoa carries himself as though he grew up around spicy whites, but he grew up around bland whites. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just like shocking. Like, I am more inclined to believe that Jason Momoa like is, you know, grew up in Brazil or some shit than like, again, Iowa. We don't like him anymore because he ditched his wife in favor of an American girl who thought he was Samoan. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like this is what I mean. You know too much about these people's lives. Who cares? I don't care.
Who's that about?
I don't know. Maybe YTT.
Okay.
But it's just like, I don't care.
I thought he was just annoying.
I don't care, and neither should you, honestly. Like, oh my God. Giving Lola the ginger mic is pretty fucked up, dude. Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
That's not by design. Chat did that, actually.
He gave me the Lorax mic.
Is this your brother? Yeah.
Whoa.
Stop saying you don't care. Why are you talking about it then? Because
yeah,
a chatter.
get his ass. Get his ass.
What? Because a chatter
Get his
brought
ass.
it up.
Get his ass.
A chatter brought it up.
Yeah, you
and
got
I'm
fucking owned. Owned.
A chatter brought it up.
I thought I brought it up. Well, I started it.
Yeah.
I just thought
But then a chatter.
The Johnny Depp fun fact. I thought you guys wanted a fun fact, okay?
Yeah, that was a fun fact.
Sorry. Let's move on.
All right. Let's get to one last thing that's newsworthy, and then after that we'll do
Well, yesterday, you guys know we
stuff.
had quite a few discussions.